that there's also things that she hates about being his girlfriend. And he calls her a cock tease. Maybe they trust Chris a little too much. He puts her hand on his dick. I might be like a little crooked, but you know, nothing's perfect, so we try. Welcome to another episode of our book club series. So we're starting with discussion 9 and we're discussing, excuse me, let me just start over. We're discussing readings 9 and 10. So if you have not listened or followed along to readings 9 and 10, go do that because you're not going to know what's going on. Okay. So I've got my notes here and all of the drama that has gone down. I took notes on everything. There is a lot that went down in not chapters 9 and 10, in readings 9 and 10. A lot of stuff happened. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to get through. So let's get started. So much drama. Anyways, so Chris gets arrested. We already talked about that, taken to jail. We meet, okay, so Jordan McAfee is Chris's lawyer, and we meet Jordan's son. I don't remember how old it said that he was, like, I don't know, somewhere around 10 to 12. But anyway, so Jordan McAfee, who is the lawyer, we meet his son for the first time. And we learn that he has a son. And his son at one point reminds him of, Chris at one point reminds him of his son. Like, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it said that Chris was saying something to him and he like had this flashback of like his own son. So I just feel like that was noteworthy. I don't know why. I just feel like that was noteworthy. Chris tries to make bail. They deny him bail because he's getting charged for first degree not guilty, and tries to make bail. They deny him bail because he is being charged for first degree murder, and they're afraid that he will like try to skip town or run away or something if they give him bail. So he's stuck. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I find it interesting that I believe Chris's story. It's weird because when I'm reading it, I want to believe Chris. Like, I want to believe that, like, something just accidental happened. Like, she either shot herself or some accident happened. And, like, I don't know. I want to believe that it's not his fault and that he didn't intentionally kill her. That's what I want to believe when I'm reading this. But it says that the police don't believe his story and his lawyer doesn't even believe his story, Jordan McAfee. It says that Jordan doesn't even believe his story. And so I'm like, dang, okay. I don't know. It's got me torn. It's really got me torn because I was definitely on Chris's side. But I mean, if his lawyer doesn't even think he's not guilty. Okay, let me read what it says. Okay, so at one point, let me see. At one point, Jordan McAfee and Gus, Chris's mom, are having a conversation. And basically Gus is like judging all the other prisoners. She's like, look at Chris compared to all these other people awaiting trial or whatever. She's like, you know, basically just saying that he doesn't look anything like them. You know, he doesn't look like a convict. He's not a killer, like blah, blah, blah. Just basically basing everything off of what these people look like and just like judging them against her own son. And Jordan, it talks about Jordan's like internal dialogue and how he's just thinking about all the convicts that looked a certain way and looked like well put together, and like all the murders and all the people who did get charged with being guilty that like looked well behaved and well put together. But he doesn't say that to her. He says, okay, so this is after, that's what, Gus is pissed. That's why she starts this conversation. That's why she's like, look at them compared to Chris. She's pissed because Chris is stuck in jail basically until trial now. So he's going to be in jail for months until, you know, they get to a verdict. And this is like right when she finds that out. And so that's why she gets all pissy and she's like, you know, like judging all the other inmates or... Okay, anyways, so that's why she gets all pissy and she's like upset about this, because she's like realizing that her son is going to be in jail for months now. And she says to Jordan, she asked Jordan this question, and she's asking if Chris knows that he's going to be in jail for months. This is a hot ass disaster. I'm not going to be doing this again. But anyways, so she, sorry. So they're still having the same conversation. Like the same, we're on the same conversation. I know it's taken me a long time to like get through it, but I'll get there. So she asks Jordan if Chris knows. She's like, does Chris know? And she's talking about, does Chris know that he's going to be stuck in jail for months on end? Like, is he aware of this? That's what she's asking. But Jordan, in his mind, is thinking it says that Jordan's like, Chris is the only one who does know. And like, that's what, and that is in reference to Chris is the only one that knows what happened that night. And that's like Jordan's internal dialogue. And remember, Jordan is his lawyer. So that right there says that we think that Chris's lawyer doesn't even believe him. And it suggests that in like a couple of different spots too. But yeah, it's like, she's like, does Chris know? And then in his head, it's like, you know, Chris is the only one who does know. Let's see. Melanie freaks out in court. So I don't mean to laugh, but this is kind of funny. Like, she gets kicked out of the courtroom for yelling. I guess I think it's funny because I would be that bitch. Anyways, so it says, like, Melanie felt nothing for Chris. Like, she didn't feel bad for him at all when they went to court. Like, she's just, like, all about just hates Chris, basically. Feels no sympathy for him at all. And, basically, let's see. What did she say? What did she yell? So now they're in the trial or whatever. They're at the arraignment. And, Chris wants to start laughing again. It says that he, like, internally wants to start laughing again, but he's trying not to. And so turns out Melanie starts laughing, like, and she yells out in the courtroom. She says, okay, so Chris pleads not guilty or whatever. And then Emily's mom, aka Melanie, responds with, not guilty of what? And she like yells that out in the courtroom. And so the first time she gets a warning from the judge, the judge is like, I'm going to need you to like be quiet or whatever, you know, something along those lines. And so she like chills out for a second. So then they go back to their arrangement session, and it says Gus can't even look at Melanie. Oh gosh. So they're trying to make bail. They're trying to get, oh my gosh. Jordan is trying to get Chris to be able to bail out. And Emily's mom, again, Melanie, this is the second time she yells in court, and she says, how come he should go free? My daughter can't. And she yells that out for the second time in court. And this time she gets kicked out of the courtroom, which is like, because that's ballsy to yell in a courtroom like that. Like, I don't know. You can get arrested doing stupid stuff like that. I was like, dang, she over here yelling in court. Like, girl, you better check yourself. But anyways, so she's like, how come he should go free? My daughter can't, you know. And then she gets kicked out. She goes outside. She finds this random guy who's smoking, and he offers her a cigarette, and he's like, I saw you in there. And basically we find out that his name is Lou Ballard, and he is a journalist. So we're outside the courthouse now, and we're chilling. It's Melanie and then this random dude whose name is Lou. And we find out he's a journalist, and they're smoking together. And Melanie asks for another one, and he's like, how about this? You can have the whole pack if I get, what did I write down? You get the cigarettes, and I get a front page story. So he wants some kind of dramatic front page story, because he's a journalist, from Melanie. So I feel like that's about to go somewhere. Like, I feel like that was just like a little hint at some crazy mess that's about to go down in the newspapers or something. Let's see. So I definitely thought that I felt like that was noteworthy for sure. Gus and James are a hot mess, as you know, as one would be, of course. So Melanie cooks breakfast for the first time in weeks. Like, I guess she's finally feeling like okay. She's like okay, you know what I mean? Like not good, but she's just like she's better than she's been in weeks. So she cooks breakfast, and Michael comes down or whatever and sees her cooking breakfast, and he's like, whoa, because you know she hasn't been okay in a while, and so he's like really excited about this. Well, she's like, I was thinking we could take a ride this morning, and to Michael, and so he cancels his like animal appointments or whatever because that's what he does. He's like he's an animal doctor, so he cancels all his appointments and they go on a ride, and all it tells us is that they pull into the courthouse parking lot. So I don't know if we haven't found out what happens next, or if it's insinuating that this is like once they arrived at court that day before the arrangement. I'm not sure like what this is referencing, but all we know is that one random morning, Melanie wakes up in a great mood, wants to go on a drive, and she drives her and Michael to the courthouse. And then it goes to like jumps to like something else. So I'm like wondering, is this just telling us like, hey, this is like the day of the arrangement, like, and she's just excited that Chris is going to be, she thinks Chris is going to stay in jail, and she's just, just happy to keep him in jail or whatever. Like, is that what this is about? Or is this like, is she about to like go visit Chris in jail or something and like have a conversation with him? That was my first thought. I was like, oh my gosh, she's about to go visit Chris in jail. Like, what? But it said courthouse, and then I was like, okay, wait a minute. So she's not at the jail, she's the courthouse parking lot. So maybe this was the arrangement. I don't know. Well, I'm sure that we'll find out. Let's see. Chris kind of not really befriends, but just like it's the only person in the jail that talks to him. It says it's this guy with black eyes and a goatee. And him and Chris are talking, and Chris asks him, like, what's he in jail for? Like, what did you do? And he says, I cut off my old lady's head. And Chris, like, walks away and tries not to, like, puke. Later, he calls him the guy who decapitated his wife. And I don't know why that's funny. It's not funny, but, like, I don't know. It's just like the fact that Chris is like so freaked out by it and like trying not to throw up. Like I would be too. You know what I mean? If I was stuck next to somebody like that, I would be like a little scared too. But for some reason that just made me laugh. It refers to him as the man with black eyes and a goatee and the guy who butchered his wife. Let's see. So Gus is mad at Jordan. Does Chris know? He's the only one who does know. Yeah, we meet Lou Ballard, who is the journalist. Chris freaks out in jail. He has a momentary breakdown in jail, but I mean, as one does, like who wouldn't? Let's see. So then it goes back to 1996, which is like a year before now, because all this stuff, I'm pretty sure goes down in 1997. Like all of the stuff that's supposed to be right now is in 1997. So I think 1996 is like the year before. And it says Chris wins his swim meet. He does like the 100-meter butterfly. He's like the best or whatever. He's like the school like athlete. He's like, that guy. And so at the end of the meet, Emily goes up or whatever because they're dating, they've been dating at this point for like 3 years, and this is a year before everything goes down. She goes up and hugs him and like kisses him, and she, in her mind, it says that she like loves this part of being his girlfriend. She loves like the attention that she gets for being his girlfriend. But then it says there are other parts of being his girlfriend that she hates, but it doesn't tell us what yet. It just kind of insinuates that maybe this relationship isn't everything that it's cracked up to be, or everything that it seems to be, and everything that everyone says that it is. So yeah, let's see. It just makes the comment that there's also things that she hates about being his girlfriend. So she refuses to have sex with Chris. We don't know why. We just know that she's afraid of something. And he calls her a cock tease. Let's see. But she doesn't care because as long as he's not asking her what's wrong, she doesn't care. She'll take like the cock tease all day. All we know is that there's something really bothering her, and she doesn't want to have sex. It's causing her to not want to have sex with Chris, who she's been together with for 3 years, probably going to get married to. Doesn't make any sense that she wouldn't, but that's all we know. So, Melanie lets her daughter go study at Chris's on a school night. Okay, so how do I start this? At one point, it says that Emily is like packing up her stuff on a school night to go study at Chris's, and her mom stops her, not knowing where she's going, like on her way out the door, and she's like, "Where do you think you're going on a school night?" And Emily's like, "I'm going over to Chris's to study." And her mom is like, "Oh, okay." So she's immediately okay with it now that her mom knows that she's going over to Chris's. Like, it makes it okay. If it was anybody else's, it wouldn't be okay. But because she's going over to Chris's, it's suddenly okay. I think that is just like giving us a little bit more background on how much these families trusted each other. Like, just to give us like an inside look on how comfortable Melanie was with Emily and Chris being together, as opposed to now where, you know, Melanie feels no sympathy for Chris at all, and she just like wants him to be in jail forever. It's like a dichotomy, like very, very different situations. And so I think this is something that gets on Emily's nerves, actually. The fact that like Chris is like one of the only people that she's allowed to hang out with, because it says that Emily asks her, she's like, "So if it was someone other than Chris, would you have let me go?" And her mom's like, "Probably not." And I think it's insinuating that kind of like gets under Emily's skin, that maybe they trust Chris a little too much, more than she would like them to. And then, oh yeah, at one point, so Emily goes over there to study or whatever, and he like really wants them to have sex. He's like, you know, they've been dating for 3 years. Like, they spend all this time together. Like, of course, that would be expected, as one does. And so he, like, grabs her hand and, like, puts it on his dick. And she, like, freaks out and cries. And then I think he apologizes. I don't remember exactly what happens. If y'all listen and you remember what happened after that, like, if he apologizes or what, put it in the comments or remind me. Let me know, because I don't remember if he apologized or if it was just, like, blown off. But yeah, he puts her hand on his dick and she freaks out. Let's see. It says, and then at the very end, we find out that Gus is okay with them having sex at 15 and 16, and Melanie is not okay with them having sex. I don't really know why that's relevant, but I felt like it was noteworthy. So that's it for the discussion of readings 9 and 10. So it's getting really, really good. I think for me, one of the things I'm most excited to get to is, number one, to find out where Melanie drove them that morning when she was like in a fantastic mood. Like, well, why she drove them to the courthouse. I want to know that. And then I also want to know where we're going with this journalist. I feel like that's going to turn into something big. That like pulls the families apart even more than they already are. So let me know what you guys are excited to learn and find out about. But yeah, so that's readings 9 and 10. I will probably post another reading today. I'll probably post reading 11 today. Yeah, anyways, thank you for being with me in this discussion. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.
How y'all feel out there? light years, call me eons. When the snare kick in, the beat is neon. Lights, yeah, I'm feeling magnificent. Care less what I'm up against.